Hi, I'm Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to this week's Confident English lesson, where we're talking about how to accept compliments in English. Several weeks ago, I did a lesson on how to give compliments, especially to colleagues at work who do something amazing and you want to tell them about it. But now we need to talk about how to accept them. And the truth is, there is how you should accept a compliment in English, and there's how native speakers actually do it. And I want you to know both, because if someone gives you a compliment, I want you to know exactly what to say. And if you give a compliment to a native speaker, they might not respond the way that you think. It might be a little bit confusing or surprising. So I want to tell you what to expect so that you're not surprised and you know what to do. Now, before we get into all of that, if you like this lesson, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any future Confident English lessons. You can also give it a thumbs up here on YouTube or share it on Facebook. Those are two fantastic ways to let me know that this lesson was helpful to you. All right, let's dive into today's topic. As I shared in that previous lesson, giving compliments is a super kind and generous thing to do. It can make your best friend feel better. It can help you build relationships. It can show kindness and generosity at work. It can improve situations at work. And it's just a really nice thing to do. It makes other people feel great. But the truth is, giving a compliment is often much, much easier than accepting one. In fact, most native speakers have a really difficult time accepting a compliment. Instead of saying a simple thank you, they often act really embarrassed. They don't know what to do, and they say something that might disagree with your compliment. It's like they're trying to push it away or change it to something negative. And when you tell someone that they did something really great or they look wonderful, it might seem surprising to you when a native speaker turns it to something negative. So we're going to take a look at a few situations that are really common and some normal everyday compliments. We'll talk about what you should say and hopefully what other native English speakers will say with those kinds of compliments. But we'll also look at what might be common or what you might hear so that you're not surprised. Situation number one, you see one of your good English-speaking friends, maybe it's a neighbor, and you say, "Wow, I love your skirt," or "That's a really beautiful dress." Now, of course, your friend should say, "Thank you so much," or "Thank you," or "Yeah, thanks, it's my favorite skirt." But what you'll probably hear is someone say something like, "This skirt? Oh, it's so old." Or, "Oh my gosh, I just threw this on this morning. I didn't even think about it." "This skirt? I can't believe it even fits me." "Oh, yeah, thanks. It's no big deal. I got it on sale." As you can see in all of those examples, the native speaker is taking the compliment and kind of pushing it away, turning it into something negative. Now, I'm not saying it's correct, and I'm not suggesting that you should do this. It is so much better to simply say thank you. Again, native English speakers often feel embarrassed or nervous about compliments. They love them. They definitely want someone to compliment them, but when it happens, they don't know what to do about it. And the reason it's important for you to know that is I don't want you to feel confused or upset or think that you did something wrong when a native speaker gives you this kind of negative response. I want you to know that it's very possible this will happen to you. The best thing you can do when a native speaker sort of pushes that compliment away is simply say, "No, really, I love it. It's a great skirt." Or, "No, it looks wonderful on you." Simply repeat the compliment and then everything will kind of be okay. Now, situation number 2 is when you compliment a colleague at work. Maybe you say something like, "That was a great presentation," or "You did an awesome job in that presentation." The way that you should respond and the way that a native speaker should respond is, "Thank you so much, I'm glad you liked it." Or, "Thank you, I really appreciate your feedback." And simply accept the compliment. But again, you might hear something that is a little bit more negative. So you might hear something like, "Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I think I messed up in the middle." Or, "Ugh, I totally destroyed the beginning of the presentation." Now, in these responses, the native speaker might be trying not to feel or sound arrogant. They're embarrassed, they don't know what to do, so they're pushing the compliment away. But as a result, what they're really saying is they're terrible at their job, and that is never a good thing to say. So once again, using a basic thank you and maybe adding something like, "Oh, I really appreciate that," is the best way to respond to that kind of compliment. Now, if you live in an English-speaking country or there are a lot of expatriates where you live, you might meet other parents, and maybe you're at a park and you see a mother with her children and you say something like, "Your daughter is so sweet, she's so kind." Now, the best thing you could say is, "Thank you so much, I'm so lucky." Or, "Thank you, it's really kind of you to say that." But again, unfortunately, you might hear some more negative responses. For example, "Oh my gosh, you should have seen her yesterday. She was a nightmare." Or, "Wow, she's not normally this well behaved." I don't think I need to tell you why those particular comments are not positive ways to respond. First and foremost, it's a terrible thing to say about a child. You always want to encourage your children and encourage that polite, kind behavior. So it's definitely not nice to say that. And it teaches a child not to accept a compliment. And that's not good either. We want children to grow up knowing that they are loved and they're wonderful, and we want to teach them how to properly accept a compliment. So I'm going to say it again. Yes, those important words, "thank you," are always the best way to respond. Thank you for your kind comment. Thank you for noticing. Thank you, that's so kind of you. And finally, situation number 4, you go to get a coffee. You go to a coffee shop, you're ordering coffee, and the person behind the counter says, "Wow, I love your earrings." Now, if you've seen this video and learned the best way to respond, hopefully you might say something like, "Thanks, they're my favorite." Or, "Thanks, I love them too." And with that simple comment, that simple acceptance of the compliment, both people can continue on their day and feel fantastic, because giving compliments is always a really nice thing to do, and knowing how to accept them is also pretty great. Now, I am super curious what it's like in your culture with compliments. What do people normally say? Do you also have a situation where there's something you should say and then there's the reality of what people do? I'd love to hear about it, so you can share with me in the comments section in the online lesson. Just go to the very bottom of the lesson. It's the best place to share your thoughts with me, ask questions, and get feedback. So I really want to know what it's like where you live. How do people handle compliments? What do they do? And as always, I have a challenge for you. I have a few example compliments, and I want you to tell me in the comments how you should accept them. And with that, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I'll see you next time for your Confident English lesson.